explain why there's a negative 5i. So when you're texting on your phone, it does become pretty hard.
No. I'm trying to find this thing.
All right.
See?
Good. Now on your outline, in section 2.5, what it talks about is conjugate pairs. All right. Now we talked about, remember guys, when we were trying to rationalize our complex numbers, we had to multiply by the conjugate, right? X plus I, we had to multiply by, or like let's say 5 minus I, you had to multiply by 5 plus I, right? Well, the exact same thing is true when we're talking about zeros and and we have complex zeros. Whenever you have complex zero, conjugate pairs are zeros. And what I mean by that, if I have 1 plus 5i, I also know that negative 5i is going to be a 0. So always remember that. If given a 0 and it's a complex number, its conjugate pair is also a 0. Another just little kind of sidebar. Let's say it was 1 minus I. All right? Then I also know that 1 plus I is also a 0. Okay? Just remember that. It's in your outline. You should have written it down, but that's something you guys need to know. So they say these are our zeros. And they asked us to find the polynomial, right? No? They don't ask, or they did? They did ask to find the polynomial. So to go from zeros to polynomial, there's a kind of a little step-by-step process we like to go through. And I'm not going to go through the whole spiel that I've done before, because by now in this section, you guys should have an idea of how to go to zeros to factors. So if these are my zeros, is that what your phone says too? If these are my zeros, then I need to go to my factors, which would be x minus 1 times x minus 5i times x plus 5i. So those are the zeros. These are what we call the factors.
I was just watching you. Wait, was I in the camera? I'm sorry.
You can edit it out.
Put like a pumpkin head over you or something.
Photoshop that.
Does everyone understand how I went from there? Zeros to factors, right? We've done this before. Remember, just these are like already solved for zero, so you need to put them back in like a parenthesis thing. So now, guys, it's just back to multiplying. So we need to remember how to multiply. Now, I've seen a lot of you guys have had trouble with multiplying. So I'm going to go back to a nice little visual diagram that you guys can do to multiply. Here, it's what we call the box method. All right? And on the box method, you do x plus 5i, and here it goes x minus 5i. All right? And the reason why this is helpful is because it organizes a lot of your stuff. When I saw a lot of you guys multiplying binomials, it was pretty scary because a lot of you were forgetting what to multiply everything by. So if you write it as a box, you can remember you're just finding the area of every single little box. X times x is x squared. X times 5i is x 5i. X times negative 5i is a negative x 5i. And negative 5i times 5i is going to be a negative 5i squared. Negative 25.
Yeah.
All right? Now, what is I squared?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 25 is? Positive 25. So we can just keep that as 25. Yes?
Why is the x in front of the 5i? Like, why isn't it like 5 by x?
Yeah, I mean, technically it would be like a 5xi, technically. All right, but since I just kind of wrote the x in there, I just leave it this. Yeah. But for this problem, it's really not going to make too much difference because if you notice, x5i and negative xi cancel out. So guess what? It's a difference of 2 squares, right? Hey, difference of 2 squares. Therefore, I know this is x minus 1 times x squared plus 25. And it's not a difference of 2 squares, though, because the I squared actually made it not a negative. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be x squared minus 25, but the I squared must have changed it. But it still is the difference of 2 squares, just actually not written in the form we're used to. So now we need to do it again. Multiply them again. So I'll just do the box method again. Why not? It's not hard. It's not like it's more work. x squared plus 25. And this one will do x minus 1. X squared times x is x cubed.
Well, you're reading backwards.
Yep. Is that okay? I just have more room over here, and I didn't want to write over there. 25. All you gotta do is just think of these are side lengths of each square. So you just find the area of every square. 25 times x is 25x.
Oh yeah.
25 times negative 1 is a negative 25. X squared times negative 1 is a negative x squared.
Ooh.
So therefore, my final polynomial
Gotcha.
is going to be x cubed minus x squared plus 25x minus 25.
It's the second class period where I understand something.
Good.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
Can you do it by the standings?
I know.